Bang, bang, Southern Fried Gang. Oops. I had a little notification pop up on the screen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is J.D. Wyatt, the Southern Fried Gentleman of Southern Fried Sports. We have a jam-packed episode coming up for you this evening, including Gamecocks Athletics, the Masters, NASCAR, your comments. We're going to talk about beautiful things. We're going to talk about ugly, hideous things. We're going to talk about it all on Southern Fried Sports this evening. So with all of that said, let me go ahead and shout out GreenvilleSportsMedia.com. Let me shout out FurmanJoust.com. Hey, even our guy Mark, he was at Wofford today. They had a spring practice open to some media. So Mark, he got a peek over at those guys. But yeah, we're going to talk about NIL, transfer portal. We're going to talk about golf, NASCAR. I'm watching South Carolina softball right now. And I think that's where I wanted to start, was Gamecocks. The Gamecocks have had a rough week this week. If you rewind to Sunday, obviously getting beaten very badly by the UConn Huskies for the national championship. And then fast forward a few days, you have the news come out that they sold the most tickets amongst everybody, had the highest average attendance amongst everybody in women's basketball. And I simply pointed out that they still lost money. They had all these sales, all this average attendance, but the program, the women's basketball program for the University of South Carolina, still lost money. And so now I ask you guys, why? Why? Is it because the ticket prices are too low? Are they not doing a good enough job getting sponsorships versus NIL? Because another reason that it was a bad day for Gamecocks yesterday was because the news broke that Malaysia Fulwiley is going to hit the portal. She had the 7th most minutes on her team this year, but had the most turnovers. Dawn Staley was a guard. She's probably going to coach that position a little harder than everybody else. Granted, she's always going to coach hard, period. I mean, we see her. She's feisty. I would just do what she says, honestly. She's been a great basketball player and a great coach. But Malaysia Fulwiley, she had a lot of turnovers. And the one bit of good news, though, that did come for the Gamecocks this week was Tanaya Ladson committing from Florida State to the Gamecocks. Guess what position she plays, though, y'all? Guard. Raven Johnson's coming back. So where does that leave Malaysia at this point? She already wasn't a starter. So, I mean, she had to feel like her minutes were going to dwindle. But MlaySha, I don't blame her. I am disappointed, yes. Shocked, absolutely not. And I'll talk about being shocked with another NIL deal here coming up in a little bit regarding a different player and different drama. But yeah, MlaySha, I mean, you got Steph Curry wearing her stuff. She's wearing Steph Curry stuff. She's a baller. I can't blame her for hitting the portal, because obviously it wasn't going to stack her way with Latson coming in and Johnson coming back. Very disappointed to see her leave. She played her high school basketball 10 minutes down the road from Colonial Life Arena with no traffic. If there's traffic, it's probably like a 20-minute drive. So yeah, like I said, the Gamecocks, so they got off to a rough start to the week. And it just continued to pile on. And when I say continued to pile on, I mean the Texas A&M Aggies. Boy, have they piled it on. Oh my goodness. So, the Gamecocks, they started this series Thursday. Played with Texas A&M. Had a very good game. It got down to 7-7 extra innings, and Texas A&M hit a solo home run to win it. All right, so heartbreaker. That game, though, said hold my beer, because the next two games are gonna one-up you. Let me show you something. So fast forward to yesterday, Friday, from Thursday. It would be a rewind from today, but y'all know what I mean. The Gamecocks. I don't think they ever showed up. Paul Mainieri said much. He said, I don't use the word embarrassing very much, but that was an embarrassing loss to the Texas A&M Aggies yesterday. 17-0, I think it was. Mercy ruled. SEC teams should not get mercy ruled. Period. I don't care who they playing. An SEC team should not get mercy ruled. Ever. A major league team should not get mercy ruled. Ever. Like, y'all are far too good, far too talented to get mercy ruled. And then that game, though, said hold my beer Saturday, excuse me. I've got one more trick up my sleeve. So the Gamecocks were leading today, Saturday, 12-2, going to the bottom of the sixth inning. They proceeded to give up one run in the sixth, two in the seventh, and the eighth. This is the kicker. They gave up 2 grand slams in the bottom of the ninth to lose 15-12. Okay, did y'all hear me? Let me repeat that. The South Carolina Gamecocks led Texas A&M 12-2, going to the bottom of the 6th inning. They then proceeded to give up 1 run in the 6th, 2 runs in both the 7th and the 8th, and 2, not 1, but 2 grand slams to lose 15-12. And y'all want to know why this is a tragedy for me? Because literally an hour before that happened, I saw a video from Bo Crouch, football talk with Bo. And they were actually talking baseball. They said the rarest feat ever accomplished in baseball is what? And this dude said there was one guy who hit 2 grand slams in 1 inning. That's pretty rare. He's the only one to ever do it. But I would venture to say the same team hitting 2 grand slams in the same inning to win the game is probably a pretty rare feat. And no, I don't mean feet like that you walk with. You silly ducks. Y'all know what I meant. F-E-A-T-S. Feet. The rarest feat. But like I said, it has been a tough week for Gamecock athletics. The softball team is currently losing to Arkansas 4-2 in the top of the 5th. But do you guys have any thoughts on that? We still can't say fire Paul Mainieri yet. It's still way too early for that. But what could the women's basketball program do to make more money? They sell a lot of tickets, don't get a lot of money. Also, what do they need to be a national contender again next year? And can Paul Mainieri right this ship? Not this year, I don't think he can. But I'm still not ready to fire the guy yet. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get those comments going. Brian, good evening to you. I'm sure Poppy's out there watching somewhere. Rowdy Rooster better be out there somewhere. Mark, you can always go back and watch the show. Don't forget Burger and Grill, Beef and Rib, Dubby Energy, and everything else. So I'll tell y'all what. We've talked about 1 grand slam. No, wait. We talked about 2 grand slams. I'm going to bring up a 3rd grand slam coming up here in just a moment. We'll be right back. Alrighty, we are back. So now, like I said, we've talked about 2 grand slams against the Gamecocks. Now it is time to talk about Rory McIlroy and the Masters taking place in Augusta, Georgia. Got lots of family down in Augusta, Georgia. And I will tell you guys this. Excuse me. I will tell y'all this, though, about Augusta. It's a great place. It's a great place. But Augusta National is beautiful. Augusta National might just be the most beautiful place on planet Earth, in my ever so humble opinion. Wherever you take a picture from on that course is postcard material. I was worried because I saw the damage from Helene. And I was worried, would it look different? Would there be anything different about it? But no. It's as beautiful as it's ever been. And Rory McIlroy, talking about beautiful moments, did you see his daughter hit that putt? And if you haven't, I definitely need you to go look it up. But she's like 3, I think. She's putting on the green of Augusta National. And she just taps the ball. Just taps it. And it rolled all the way slowly to the hole and went in. It was a beautiful moment. I think Shane Lowry was there with Rory when she did it. Brian, he says he saw it. Was that not like the craziest putt you've ever seen? Like, she literally just said, doop. Down the hill it went. Brian said he's been to Augusta National when he worked for a landscape conference when he was in college. My uncle used to get tickets. My parents have a few pictures of stuff he took. And that's crazy too. Can't have your phone at Augusta National. Wouldn't that be cool, man? Hey, I'm going to Augusta National. Can't have my phone. Don't bother texting. Don't bother calling. Because I ain't answering. And I'll give you one better. So it's a lottery to get tickets to the Masters. And this one guy, he had tons of kids. He applied to the lottery. You want to know how many tickets he applied for? 1. Because he thought they would feel sorry for him and give a guy that wants to go to the Masters by himself a ticket. And then not only that, he doesn't have to choose which kid he's going to take with him. He doesn't have to choose. If you only get 1 ticket, I'm going by myself. Goodbye. Hasta luego. I'm going to the Masters. And then you can go get a pimento cheese sandwich, egg salad sandwich on the cheap. But the Masters is a beautiful place. Beautiful stories take place. And here is a beautiful story. Bryson DeChambeau on the 18th hole made a ridiculous putt. to bring himself within 2 strokes of Rory going to the final day. And here is the kick about Rory. The player who has been in 3rd place after the 2nd round for like the last 25 years has won about 50% of the tournaments. I forget the exact stat, but I heard it on the radio yesterday. And you want to be in 3rd place after the 2nd round. And guess who that was? Rory. And it was also Connors. With Connors, I do believe, remains in 3rd place after the 3rd round. Yep. So you've got Rory. He's 12 under. He was 6 under today. Bryson DeChambeau, 10 under. 3 under on the day. Corey Connors, 8 under, 2 under on the day. One of those 3 gentlemen will win the Masters. The trick about Rory is, like I just said, he was in 3rd after the 2nd round, which has pretty good odds of winning over the last 25 years. And could he finally complete his career Grand Slam? There's that word again, Grand Slam. I told you we were coming back to it. But the problem with Rory is the only lead he has blown in a major that he's had after 54 holes is the Masters. He blew a 4-stroke lead. Wound up finishing 15th in one day. Man, golf will get you in the butt. Golly, from leading 4 strokes ahead, and you wound up tied for 15th. That was a rough day at the office. But he has won the other 4 times that he had a lead in a major after 54 holes. So could it finally be fate for Rory to complete his Grand Slam? Could it be fate? I don't know. I think DeChambeau, he's going to have momentum after that huge putt he made. Connors, I mean, you still got some contenders. But if I had to bet money, I would say Rory, Bryson, or Corey will win the 2025 Masters. Oh, you want to know another thing about Rory? The whole 3 thing? He was the first ever golfer to start out with 6 straight 3s to open a round. The last 3 was an eagle to take the lead. A chip-in eagle, no less. It was fantastic stuff. The Masters is just, it's beautiful. History is made. I mean, it's right here in our backyard. And it's beautiful. If you're talking about churches, I mean, Augusta National is the holy grail. Tomorrow, 2 p.m., Scotty Scheffler, Shane Lowry. Oberg, Jason Day, tee off at 2:20. Connors and Reed at 2:30. Or no, I'm reading those times wrong. My bad. So at 2, you've got Scotty and Shane. 2:10, Oberg, Day. 2:20, Connors and Reed. 2:30, DeChambeau and McIlroy. Golly, I wish I could follow them. God, that'd be so much fun. Nah, man, you ain't never late. If you show up, you right on time. But yeah, Mark, you missed all the Gamecock stuff, man. You'll have to go back to the beginning. Catch all the Gamecock talk. Because now we're fixing to get into the other NIL talk. The other Nico stuff. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're going to get into all that now, I guess. Oh no, y'all sneak a few comments in real quick. Because I don't know if I'm ready to rant. I will. You know I will. But I don't know. All right, forgive me. I was getting my whistle wet so I can do this. First of all, though, I got to point out the Gamecocks took the lead over the Razorbacks in the top of the 5th. They are up 5-4. How about that? We got Madcraft in the house. Oh my goodness, Madcraft. Here we go. Got a topic just for you, Madcraft, and Mark, Brian, everybody in between. So let me start off by saying this. Nico Iamaleava, however you want to pronounce it. As soon as I saw his name and the amount of NIL money that he was getting paid last year, I literally put out a post and said, he will be Nico Iamaleaving very soon. And I did not know that it was going to play out this way. I had no idea. And I'm very intrigued to see if this is going to go the way I want it to. Because hopefully, this is the type story that finally says, okay, enough is enough. I have had enough of this nonsense. NIL is not being used in any way, shape, or form that it was intentionally built for. And now you can't blame anyone because they never really put up any rules about it. So, step 1, blame the NCAA for the Nico situation. 2, I blame anybody that pays a freshman $2.4 million before even stepping foot on a college football field just to get him to come to your school. So whoever paid him that much money to begin with, I blame you. Because now the only way to go is up. If he's already making 2.4 and he sees other quarterbacks, Carson Beck, the Duke quarterback, all getting more money than he is, he's like, oh yeah, I need to renegotiate my deal. because it's not the NFL, because there's no contracts. You can just say, I'm going to negotiate this deal, or I'll sit out. When's a player going to say, oh, I'll just sit out week 3 if they don't want to pay me more money? I balled out the first 2 games, played crazy. I won an extra $50,000. I'll sit out week 3. Because now you've got this whole can of worms open. And I'll get y'all's comments here in a minute. Matt, I see you commenting. I'll get yours for sure. Let me see if I can get the rest of this rant out real quick, though. So, you've already started the guy at $2.4 million. Of course, he's going to want to come back and be like, no, I need more money. So now you got this whole can of worms open. Maybe I'll sit out the first round of the playoffs. Maybe I'll sit out the bowl game unless you pay me more money. So until there is something that is legally binding for the money these players are getting and what their responsibilities are, you're going to have a problem. It's as simple as that. Now, like I said, I do not blame Nico for trying to get more money. I don't blame you, bro. Go try to get all the money you can get. However, I bet you money when you laid out Friday of practice, I don't think you thought Josh Heupel was going to tell you to kick rocks. And so kudos to Josh Heupel, because he finally stood up and said something that every coach, the NCAA, parents, or anybody else needs to say to these players. No one player is bigger than the team. Okay? I don't care if you're my $2.4 million quarterback and you want $4 million. And then you're going to sit out of practice? Nah. Kudos to him. And then here's the other crazy part. Have y'all heard this? Dan Lanning supposedly contacted Josh Heupel to let him know that Nico was out putting out feelers to see how much NIL money he could get for everybody else, from anybody else. And here's the one thing we know. Nico will not be in the SEC because there's a conference restriction that prohibits him from transferring to another SEC school in the spring portal window. So where will he land? Will he get the $4 million? I've heard a lot of people say UNC. I have heard a lot of people say UNC with Bill Belichick. That'd be interesting. Madcraft. Anti-Tolo. I'm scared, bro. Plenty of hot-headed coaches who think they can coach him to greatness, located at schools who have boatloads to spend for desperate wins. Nico's going to end up in a good spot, I do believe. I just don't know where it's at. I'm leaning UNC. Oh, Colorado. But Miami is stupid enough to go pay this guy as well. Mark says a lot of coaches would have caved. I think Josh Heupel would have caved if it weren't for the Dan Lanning phone call. If Dan Lanning hadn't given Josh Heupel that little bit of information that, hey, this guy, he's not really in the portal yet, but he's already seeking out other deals, I think Josh might would have caved. But then again, too, who would it have really been caving? Would it have been the NIL collective to try to keep Nico? Or would it have been Josh trying to keep Nico? And so again, I'm not trying to be too harsh on the kid, but they were literally asking for this to happen. When you pay, think about Bryce Underwood in Michigan. I mean, rumor has it he was paid $10 million, and he hasn't even played yet. So when he tries to renegotiate next year, because Nico did $15 million. So I mean, now you've got this whole can of worms, and I'm up to here with it, dude. Like, I'm fed up. Like, either let me fix it or somebody fix it, or something, because it's ridiculous. This was built for not just one or two players on a team to become millionaires. It was supposed to put a little bit of cash in the players like Shabazz Napier from UConn years ago, who said he couldn't afford to eat and his meal plan ran out, and he was a scholarship basketball player to UConn. So let him go sign some autographs for a free cheeseburger and $500, and then he don't have to worry about anything for a few days. This NIL thing was not for these players to make more money in college than they will probably in their entire NFL career, because none of them are really that good anyway. How many college football players do we see flop year after year after year after year? And then not only that, you've got them trying to get all this money now. But what about the Vince Youngs of the world? The Reggie Bushes, the Matt Leinarts, the Tim Tebows, the Cam Newtons. Yeah, they might have got a little money under the table, but all of them could have had multiple $1 million back then. But we're not going back and making this situation whole. But y'all are trying to extort this situation going forward. Somebody's going to have to meet me right in the middle somewhere and figure this out. Like, can we have a come to Jesus? Because the whole thing a while back was about players getting tampered with by coaches, entering the portal with a do not contact tag. But now you've got players like Nico who aren't even in the portal yet, trying to renegotiate their deal, and they're seeking out other colleges. So, I mean, is there going to be a such thing as player tampering? Coaches tampering? Player tampering? Because if that's the case, that's certainly what Nico did. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. I got Madcraft. He says 100% JD. He showed flashes of greatness, but he's not on the tier he believes he is. He threw for less than 200 yards in 4 games. Got 104 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions in the college football playoff. He got upset by Arkansas. Like, I get it, man. You want more money, but not You can't hold out, man. At some point, you got to be a good teammate too. Because if I'm another player of whatever team he transfers to, knowing he probably just got $4 million, I'm like, man, you just took $20K out my pocket, took $50K out my pocket, all because they gave you $4 million. And I saw how you just did your teammates. So I'm like, I don't respect the dude already. You know what I mean? If I'm a teammate, if I'm that person, and this guy comes in and I know he got paid $4 million, I'm just like, I kind of don't like you already, bro. Not because of the money you got, but because of how you did your teammates. And so I need somebody to figure this out. Let's see what Mark agreed. Mark agreed with Mad. If you're trying to double your money, you need to show more flashes, in my opinion, regarding Nico. Yeah, I agree. Like I said, he threw for less than 200 yards in like 4 games. Lost to Arkansas. Got smoked by Ohio State. We got Pensman up in here. Hit like and subscribe. Yes, sir. Please do. On him and myself. Madcraft. I agree, Mark. That's why I'm scared Miami would be dumb enough to pay him. I don't want him. But would he come be a backup for a year to Carson Beck, man? Huh? I mean, for $4 million, I would. Shoot, I'd go back up somebody for $1,000. $1,000, I'll be a backup. If someone pays him, then you will have guys like Will Howard who will be trying to raise their price tags. Yeah, I mean, it's all market. It's all economics, which we discussed earlier, talking about the ticket sales with the Gamecocks women's basketball program. I just don't understand how they have so many ticket sales, average the best, and manage to lose money. For such a great product, they might need to raise the prices for Gamecocks women's basketball. But that's kind of just to tie everything all right there in a nice little bow. We have talked about golf, Gamecocks baseball, Gamecocks women's basketball. Talked about Rory and Grand Slams. Talked about beef and ribs, Arden's Burger and Grill, GreenvilleSportsMedia.com. So I'll tell you guys what. Madcraft, yeah, I had a whole spill about Rory earlier. The player who is in third place after the second round has won the Masters like 30 to 40% of the time in the last 25 years. Rory and Connors were in third yesterday. Rory, he jumped to the lead today. Connors stayed in third. So I'm watching Connors. I'm watching Rory. Rory, he also had 6 threes to open up. First golfer to ever do that at the Masters. Open up the phone line, says Madcraft. Man, one of these days I'll have me a phone line. One of these days. Y'all type them out. What you want to talk about? There's NBA playoffs coming up, NHL, Madcraft. I'm going to mention some NASCAR here in just a minute before we wrap it up. Reed fell off today. Yep, he did. There were a few that fell off. Not so many, though, that played very well. I mean, even DeChambeau was only 3 under for the day. if he would have hit one more birdie, he would be one stroke back. But he did have that ridiculous putt on 18. As a matter of fact, I've got it up as a YouTube short. Got plenty of YouTube shorts up. NASCAR, golf. South Carolina women's bases loaded. 5-4, still leading. 2 outs. Let's see if we can get a run here, ladies. And the pitch. And outside. No, they called it a strike. The count is 1-1. Come on, y'all watch with me here. Let me see if the Gamecocks can get a score. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Top of the 6th. And the pitch. And a ball. 2-1. Man, the Lady Gamecock softball team has been such a great surprise this year. Especially in a year when baseball has struggled as much as it has, like I discussed earlier. All right, that was a pitch and a swing and a miss. We got deuces. 2-2. 2 outs. Bases loaded. South Carolina leads Arkansas 5-4. Top of the 6th, a pitch and a strikeout. I'll never do that again because it didn't work. Thought she was going to hit a home run. Didn't work, fellas. Didn't work. Alrighty. Y'all, let me get a sip of drink. We're going to finish up with your questions and comments and my quick NASCAR take. So y'all send in the questions, the comments. We'll be right back. Oh, man, water is so good. Good gracious. Alrighty. Madcraft. First question. I know another sports show host who thinks up and down bunker shots and getting a base hit are equal. No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I would call a bunker shot that you make into the hole equal to getting a base hit. I don't know. That's tough. Man, it's so hard to compare apples and oranges sometimes. The whole era, we struggle comparing eras to eras sometimes. Just because the games change so much and the technology and the rules and this and that. Everything changes. But if you were simply asking me if it's easier to hit a golf ball or a baseball, and I've played both, I play them both frequently, I would have to say that hitting a golf ball is easier. However, I can change the words of that statement and make it very different. Hitting a golf ball accurately is very difficult. Hitting a moving baseball is very difficult. So if you're just simply asked to make contact with the golf ball and you don't have to hit it somewhere specifically, I would say that hitting in that generic form, hitting a golf ball is easier than hitting a baseball. Now, if you were to rephrase it and say playing golf is easier than playing baseball, I would probably have to disagree there. You thought about the best way to equalize this question, so he's going to tweet it out. Yeah, man, do it. do it with a poll, and yeah, I'll retweet it. You can find me at JDWyatt06 on X. Please make sure that y'all have hit like, and hey, do me a favor, tell a friend, send them a clip of something I said, make fun of me, whatever. When you just tell them to subscribe. We're trying to grow those subscribers. We're at 203, I think. And Brian, he says he can shoot in the low 90s in golf. Man, that's impressive, bro. That is impressive. I can shoot about 100. 96 to 100. Just depends. Depends on how many glizzies I take in on the turn. That is exactly the point. Keep it up, brother. You're the man, Madcraft. Appreciate you joining us this evening. I don't know where old Kane is. Kane, he was giving me some smoke earlier. He should have showed up this evening. He told me not to criticize Nico or Ja Morant too much, which I've already criticized Ja Morant. I told him to put his pew-pews away numerous times. And then he went to throwing grenades. Come on, bro. Oh my goodness, Ja Morant, you're ridiculous. Mark Livingston, he says he plays putt-putt. Putt-putt's fun, man. I'm always down for some putt-putt. Play for $1 a hole. $1 a hole. Man, we got Brian out here bragging about his handicap. That's something that could be taken way out of context, couldn't it? Bragging about a handicap. Talking about golf handicap, people. Family show, eyes up here. Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, looks like y'all's questions are finished. So I'm going to leave you with my Southern fried dessert of the evening. I watched the Xfinity Bristol race today. I watched the Xfinity Darlington and Martinsville race the last few weeks. And I am here to admit to you that I prefer Xfinity racing over the Cup Series here over the last few weeks. And no, that's not just because Denny Hamlin has won the last 2 weeks, even though I can't stand the guy. That's not why I don't like the last few weeks in the Cup Series. There hasn't been as much action. There hasn't been as much drama. The tire wear isn't there. These cars are too easy to drive. At Martinsville, the top 5 didn't move the last 90 laps. Is it really racing if nobody's getting past? Is it really fishing if you don't catch any fish? So, my question is, can Bristol save the Cup Series this weekend? Because I think they're already behind the 8 ball with how great the Xfinity race was today. NASCAR, you got to do better. $1 a putt-putt hole. Yeah, P Digits, that's what we were talking about. Yeah, you down? We'll hit up Frankie's Fun Park, bro. We will get some hot dogs / glizzies after the first 9 or 18. We'll make it like a regular golf day, man. It'll be a blast. Let's do it. Madcraft, Mark, Brian, Poppy out there watching. Rowdy Roosters here somewhere, I'm sure. And y'all, that is it for the evening. It has been a minute since I've come to you live. It's always a pleasure to have you guys come and chop it up with me, have some fun. I appreciate you all very much. P Digits says he accepts my challenge. Sounds good, bro. You know where to find me. I ain't hard to find. You know it. I know it. Everybody know it. But you all are amazing. Augusta National is beautiful. Probably the most beautiful place on the face of planet Earth, in my opinion. I stand by what I say. Nico, I don't blame you for trying to get $4 million. But I bet you didn't think you was going to get kicked off the team. So with all of that said, I want y'all to be blessed, not stressed. Just be kind to one another. And we will see y'all again soon. For Greenville Sports Media, Furman Joust, I am the Southern Fried Gentleman of Southern Fried Sports. Good night, everybody.